Coming up this month, we speak to the godfather of Malaysian rugby, a former rugby player and now retired CEO of a huge corporation. This man had a vision over 10 years ago to build a rugby club with its own housing, gym and playing facilities in the middle of nowhere. That man was Vela Tan, and with the help of his 4 other brothers, they created and formed what is now called the home of the Borneo Eagles Rugby Club, where some of the best rugby players in the world have come to be part of. We sat down with Vela to get an insight into the club, his vision, and how he managed to turn and build a dynasty from the ground up.
I'm Vela Tan, the president of Sabah Rugby Union as well as the Borneo Eagles Rugby Club, and formerly a planter by profession, CEO of a listed company, retired, and at the moment pursuing the passion of my life, rugby. Basically what has happened is here, because of my involvement in rugby at a young age way back in the 70s, and that had a great impact on my life because it's through rugby that enhanced my career. So while I made it in my corporate life, it is one channel of payback to the community. So we used rugby as a platform in Sabah to reach out to all the rural kids and give them an opportunity, not just playing rugby, but to assist to develop their skills of leadership skills and character development, which will greatly enhance their living skills in the future. So what started as a corporate social responsibility, we made use of it as a platform to launch further in the rugby development in the state. While we started the rugby development program, we knew the issues on having our own place is the best thing to do, because hiring facilities and getting fields from the various places becomes a difficulty. So we need our own field, we need our own hardware here. So that is something that we do not have to depend on anybody else. So we used Sabah as a base, and I was involved in a plantation development here. And this piece of land that you see here is basically a housing development project that this man was acquired by me for the company. So we made the company give back this particular piece of land to as part of their social contribution. So it was about 6 acres. The company is generous enough to excise out for the heritage as a sports center for the people in Sabah. So I took the advantage of putting the land into the Sabah Rugby Club and developing these facilities around here. Yeah, we started in 2003 when we launched the project of taking over the Sabah Rugby Union and going on a very comprehensive long-term development program throughout the state of Sabah. We noticed that the kids here have the built for rugby, and very rural, don't have the kind of opportunities like in West Malaysia, is much more advanced. So the hunger for them to excel was tremendous. So we decided body physique fits them very well, and the rural kids willing to learn. So we launched this project of reaching out to the kids more than 10 years ago. And at that time, there's only 2 schools playing rugby in Sabah, and we had an uphill task all the way, having to promote the game, convince the children and the parents that they can play rugby and not get into unnecessary trouble or hurt. At the same time, logistics nightmare in the state, because it's a very rural state, not so advanced as the states in Peninsula. It is a challenge, but we love challenges. We always take the path that is less traveled by people. So we started from that almost ground zero, and went on a promotion program, tied up an agreement with the education department and the sports ministry with the company, willing to sponsor, to take care of these development programs. Through that, we had a tripartite agreement with the plantation company that I was working with, and the state education department and the Ministry of Youth and Sports, that allowed us to go to all the schools and start this program of rugby development, starting from the primary school. So that's what we've been doing. Starting from 2 schools, today we have more than 50 schools in our program throughout the state. Yeah. So one of the issues will be bringing kids from all of the states, and the issue of how to house them. More than often, the facilities with the government authorities are not available simply because there are so many other sports rugby is not one of the core sports, you know. So they take the precedence on getting some of the places to house their players or any tournaments. So we decided that we should have our own facilities. So with that, we launched on a fundraising campaign, and of course getting a lot of good generous donors to contribute, and we put up the facilities. If you see over there, that is our dormitory, 64 beds. And I can have anytime 3-4 schools housed there, do a centralized training before taking them for any tournaments. If they're playing for the state, we put them up here for 2-3 weeks. They train here, they eat here, stay together. We do the deployment before we send them out for the tournaments. And when it comes to the club, yes, this is also the ground for them, and this is also the place for hosting major events. So it's all within our reach, and we can cut down a lot of expenses into hire these kind of places to host tournaments and training programs. So we have the futsal court over there. You'll notice that the futsal court is basically generate funds to take care of overheads of the club. Maybe salaries and wages of the staffs, as well as the upkeep of this pitch, as well as the stadium facilities. So, and the dormitory, we need some money to keep this place intact. So that futsal court, which is rented out, brings in that income to sustain club activities, not the development program. That needs a lot more money. Basically, our whole family, most of us have played rugby before, starting from my elder brother. We all played for Cobra in our younger days and the state of Selangor. Coming from a family that's all totally involved in rugby. So when we moved over here, and some of my brothers too moved over to Sabah with me, so it only is a matter of supporting the siblings, supporting each other. So of course, one is a fantastic groundsman, prepares all the grounds and gets this thing. The other one is involved in my development programs, and one comes all the way in Kuala Lumpur to stir things up, and and we got our own ways of networking with the various teams. So each of us somehow or other we fit up. It is like a family undertaking, and we are very passionate about this whole rugby game. Yes, our Fijian connection is simply because they were in Peninsular Malaysia, in Cobra, and few other clubs hired Fijian services. So we too made our contacts and decided to bring in Fijian kids from Fiji to come here to coach our boys and get involved in the development program. So we took the under-14 first round about 2 years ago down to New Zealand and put them there for 3 weeks, train with the local boys there, train under some of the better coaches there, get to see the All Blacks training and play some tournaments on the same age group. I think that has a tremendous impact on the kids who went. And today when they came back, I think psychologically they were better players and with much more confidence in the game. And I've seen that batch who are now finished schooling. They play fantastic rugby. They went on to win last year's under-16 Cobra International Tournament, where they beat some teams from Australia and Hong Kong and all that. So that shows that there are talents here, but I think we need to give them exposure at that age level. And through this context, with one contact leading to another, we established very strong links with people like Sherwin Stowers, Tanao Maga, to name a few. Rocky Khan, as a young boy, used to play for us, and he was picked up and then went on to play for All Blacks. So similarly, there are quite a number of other players. And then, of course, from Samoa, we had Olamai too. We got a younger brother, a good friend of the guys in Samoa. So through this kind of a personal interaction with them, they became good buddies, and they came and played for our game, for the club, and appeared for the club. And using this network, we are tapping on the expertise and help to develop this game. What I want to say is a rugby playing state. Just like in the islands of Fiji and Samoa and Auckland, we are islanders too. I like to see a rugby tournament almost every week. I think that is the best legacy I like to leave behind. In years to come, when I walk out of these things and call it a day, I like to see every district, every weekend, rugby being played. And I like to see that happen in the near future. And I'm quite confident we'll get there.